Hello and welcome to the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League, live tonight from Zolder Circuit here for race number 2 of 10 this season. And we do have the dual 20-minute endurance race format here as drivers just wrapping up the qualifying session. We've got 15 drivers here tonight, and we are excited to bring you this racing action from Zolder. A little bit of information on Zolder. You can see the track map right there. 65-degree air temp tonight, 98-degree track temp, so it is going to be a little bit hot. And these guys in the GT3 machines going to be contending with that, as well as 8-mile-an-hour wind fluctuating there a little bit to the south. And this 10-corner racetrack just covering 2 miles here at Zolder, so going to be an interesting one to see these drivers after an exciting race 1 at Watkins Glen to see what they can do here in race number 2. Of course, do want to let you know who's bringing you the action here tonight. My name is Adam Baker. You can check us out at VSpeedSim on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, wherever you may follow your socials. You can find us on those platforms, and we would appreciate you checking in and following along with us to stay up to date with what we're up to throughout the week. This is race 2 of 10 this season. We'll be bringing you the full BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing winter season here in 2024, as qualifying is going to wrap up, and we are going to head to the starting grid here tonight. Let's see where your favorite drivers are going to be rolling off from Zolder, or we'll at least see where they qualified this evening. Starting up front once again, Andy Shield just showing the speed in the Porsche machine. He is up there at the top of the qualifying board, so he'll take the fastest time, and we do invert the top 12 this evening, so that will change things up. Brian Kennedy going to be second quickest there in qualifying as we go to third. Harley Lewis, fourth is last week's feature winner Darren Treacle. He's going to be fourth quickest here. Fifth will be Michael Pavolano. Sixth, Dean Tulin. Seventh, Perry Duncan. Eighth is Adam Pohl. Ninth, Matthew Gazenda. Colin Kortnick in 10th. 11th is Scott Kim. 12th, Jakub Bielek. Rolling off 13th would be Mike Nickum. Sten Sellier going to be starting in the 14th position. Carlos Bonds going to round out the field in the Lamborghini in 15th spot. As that will do it for our starting grid. Going to be trying out a new ticker design here this evening. And we will make a small adjustment to that. Get that in the right spot for next time, or at least move our BMW logo around for the next time. But should be a good race tonight. It is going to be Jakub Bielek inverted up there to the front of the field. It'd be exciting to see what he is able to do. Make sure to cheer on your favorite driver. Let us know you're out there, who you're rooting for, and make sure to support the sponsors that help these guys out. That is Gunfire Games, Duncan Racing Designs, and Matt Motorsports. You'll hear more from each of them at the halfway break between the heat race and the feature event tonight. Again, race 1 from Zolder. Sorry, race 2 from Zolder. This is going to be the heat event. 20 minutes. We'll see where these drivers end up finishing. That will set up the grid for race number 2. The top 12 again inverted. We saw Andy Shield, driver of the day last week, able to win the heat race and nearly able to climb through the field. Ended up with a top 5 in the feature after early troubles. If he can keep up that speed, he's going to have to pass a lot of race cars to get things started here, and be able to see the track map, who we're following along with up there on the top of your screen. Whoever being highlighted, you'll see their position up there and their location on the racetrack. You can see a few stretches on this circuit that are straightaways, and then some more technical areas, high-speed corners. We have seen some great action from these drivers at this track in the past, and always very competitive in this league. We got cheers for Harley Lewis in the chat. Going to be rolling off from 10th position, the third quickest in qualifying. will have some work to do in that number 6 machine, the Remnant 2 camo paint scheme. And we'll see what these drivers are able to do at the start of this one. That can be such a tough hurdle to climb, to come from the back of the field and try and avoid what could happen on the opening laps of the race. As we are headed towards that start-finish line, it's going to be Jakub Bielik and Scott Kim leading the field. Green flag in the air. We are off and away, and I hear contact already further back. That is Andy Shield taking it 3 wide down the front straightaway. And they are side by side, 3 wide further back. That is going to be Darren Treacle to the inside. Andy Shield right there in the middle. As Scott Kim has a nose out in front. They make their way into turn number 3. And drivers all surviving to this point in the GT3 cars. And the lead, Scott Kim, heads down into the corner. And this is where things get really tight and technical. And we have contact all throughout the field, but here's they have survived to this point, up over the crest. Everybody's still rolling in the right direction, but the field already spread out by 6 seconds from 1st to 14th. Scott Kim trying to get away. And he is doing just that, 1.2 seconds up the road from Jakub Bielik. As he tries to pull through here on the backside of the racetrack. And we have a few groups of race cars. I do see somebody went off into the grass just a little bit. Drivers moving up through the field and some fading already. Darren Treacle up 3 spots. Andy Shield up 5 spots. As that group of cars single files out, headed back across the line to complete lap number 1. Times just around 1:36 to 1:40. We'll see how the lap times start to improve or how consistent they are here tonight. Adam Pohl going to move on into 4th position, looking for his way up onto the podium in the heat race. Side by side further back. Dean Tulane out in front of Michael Pabolano. Perry Duncan, we're going at it right there. Now on board with Michael Pabolano is nearly contact. Maybe a little bumper tag right there with himself and the number 8 of Perry Duncan. Further up the field, the battle is on for 2nd place. Here comes Colin Courtney. Good run through the chicane. Gonna try and pull alongside of drivers right. Jakub Bielik, the preferred groove. Gonna be able to hold on to the spot, and that's gonna open the door for Matthew Gazenda. Or sorry, Adam Pohl. Gonna pull alongside, and they're gonna make contact and head on into the wall. And that is gonna be right into traffic. And already an incident here. We're going to take a look. It was Colin Courtnick and Adam Pohl side by side. We're going to get a good look at it from this camera angle. Yeah, just make contact and then we lose it in that camera angle and then head on into the wall. Let's go back one more time. Look at this replay. Adam Pohl just pulls alongside. They make contact. I mean, Adam couldn't go any further left. Colin obviously didn't realize that they were side by side at that point. And they will continue rolling here, but not after getting a lot of damage. As Andy Shield marching his way through up 9 positions, just has 2 more in front, but Darren Treacle has also made his way through the field up 7 spots. So some of the fastest drivers from last week up into position. Lap times That time around, Scott Kim, very strong 130 flat. And he is pulling away right now, 5.7 seconds. He does have two of the fastest drivers behind him. That time a 130.4. We'll see what Darren Treacle's time is at the line. That's a 130 flat. Andy Scheel, 129.69. Sorry, 130.8. So actually not going to improve his fastest lap at that current moment. It looks like maybe a problem further back. Colin Kortnick has pulled it in. Stencelier has brought it down pit road as well. No problems that I could see in terms of accidents, but field fairly well separated. And here is Scott Kim still trying to hang on to a lead. 5.2 seconds now. Starting to tick down just a little bit. Darren Treacle with clean air. And have his sights set on tracking down Scott. He's also going to have a mirror full of Andy Scheel, the fastest driver in qualifying. Another big mover, Harley Lewis, up to 5th position. And Harley looking very strong tonight once again. Trying to chase down Matthew Gazenda for the 4th position. And that lead once again ticks back down. Scott Kim, 130.6, not a bad lap time. But 1.2 seconds slower than Darren Treacle. At that pace, he'll get there in about 3 or 4 laps. Scott gonna have to pick up the pace just a little bit as he has seen that lead now tick to right around 4.1 seconds. The top 3 have pulled away a little bit. Matthew Gazenda in the 4th position with Harley Lewis tracking him down. And then we've got Jakub Bielik. Remember, started up there in the 1st spot, still hanging on to a 6th position running spot. Dean Tulien has closed in, though, and bringing Perry Duncan, Michael Pavolano, and others. Keep an eye on Brian Kennedy, who must have encountered some issues, a little bit of nose damage on that Ferrari. Brian trying to work his way forward, only up 1 spot right now into 10th. We go on board with him. The view out in front, it is 3 wide headed into the corner. We're gonna go and zoom out, and that looks like it's gonna be Dean Tulien taking the spot away from Perry Duncan. Nice move into that corner, and Brian Kennedy trying to make a move on Michael Pavolano. These two have done battle many a time, and once again doing it right here at Zolder. Ooh, a little bit wide there for Pavolano. He's going to slip back in the line into 10th as we've got those 5 cars nose to tail. Carlos Bonds a little further back, got a couple tires off. Scott Kim seeing the lead now trickle down to 3 seconds with Darren Treacle closing in. That is the difference right there, just that much closer this time around. But how about Andy Scheel? He's closing the gap himself to Darren Treacle. Was about a 1/10 and a half faster than the 70. We want to thank you for tuning in here tonight on V-Speed, and make sure to like, share, subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and cheer on your favorite driver if you're out there, and we'll try and follow along with them throughout tonight's events. But right now it is Scott Kim out in the lead. Nice to see Scott leading some laps. He could get a heat win if he can find a little bit more pace in that Ferrari, but could very well find himself on the podium before the end of this. That gap starting to slip away, now down to 2.4 seconds. Scott very consistently about 130s. He got a big hit on the curb right there, and that cost him about 3 or 4 tenths alone. Have to be careful with the aerodynamics on these cars. Very sensitive aero treatments on the front and rear of all of these different GT3 machines. See, Andy Scheel has a bunch of nose damage working through the field, but it doesn't seem to have hindered him too much. Just tracking down Darren Treacle, who continues to chip away into the race lead. Top 3 closing in on one another. Look at other battles. Nobody really fighting for position further back. Perry Duncan closing in on Brian Kennedy just a little bit. So this is Perry in the black and gold car. Oh, and there goes Brian Kennedy off into pit lane. I am not sure what's going on here. Maybe serving a penalty. But he has pulled it off. Find a good view, as there he is working down the pit road at 35 miles an hour. We are past the halfway point in the heat race, and Scott Kim still hanging on to that top position, but what was once a 5.5 second lead now down to 1.4. Last lap really not his best effort, a 130.9 to Darren Treacle's 129.6. We'll see what Scott's able to do this time around. He's been in the 130s all race long, yet to break into a 129. These two behind him, though, running in the mid 129s, and that gap continues to shrink. Treacle closer and closer. Andy Scheel might be facing some aerodynamic issues. Still pushing the Porsche as fast as he can, and could be a grip issue too. If you push too hard in the beginning, that pace can fall off. You can burn those tires up. Scott Kim nearly identical lap to the previous. He heads in at turn 1, dives it off in there, trying to find as much speed as possible. Treacle just a little bit faster back to the throttle, and that is the margin for the race lead. And nice job through that chicane this time. And there's the battle for the race lead. Like him trying to hang on, smooth out his lines, a little bit quicker back to the throttle. And Darren kind of in that dirty air at this point, so it could affect the handling. As it looks like Adam Pohl with issues further back. We're gonna go back and see what happened here. Then we'll head back up to the top of the leaderboard, but oh, big problems, and he goes flying into the barrier. I think just lost the back end, and yeah, you can see it right there. Big hit into the outside wall. Ends up slamming it with the passenger side door. As we go back live, it is Scott Kim still hanging on to the top spot. 9 laps led. The driver who started in second, and Darren Treacle closed in now just about 2 car lengths behind. Scott's gonna have to hang on for about 6 more minutes. That's about 4 laps. He goes a little wide right there. Here comes Darren. Big run in the Mercedes. He's gonna take a look to driver's left, but thinks better of it. Scott outbrakes himself just a little bit right there. Goes defensive line right here, and Darren Treacle really putting the pressure on now. 1 car length in the mirror of the 7-Eleven, and Scott a little offline right there, but able to put the power back down. Could be looking at a very good points night running up at the front. And the top 3 are gone. It is 7.2 seconds back to Harley Lewis. But a really nice job so far by Scott Kim, who started at the front and away from all the melee. Darren Treacle a little wide off that corner. That'll give a little bit more momentum to the 7-Eleven rather. And back off into turn number 1. Got a little wide there, and here comes Darren. Gonna look drivers right. Gonna be a tough move to make, but Scott goes a little deep. Crossover from Treacle. Just not quite able to get there, but here he is. Nose peak down to the inside, side by side, through the corner. Plenty of room, respectful racing right there. The top 2, side by side, and here comes Andy Shield trying to decide which way to go. And they're gonna go into the chicane side by side as well. Contact, Treacle forced a little wide. Nearly 3 wide for the race lead. Scott Kim out in front. And Treacle gonna try and force his way through, but that is gonna do it. Scott Kim not able to hang on. As the top 3 battling hard. That's also brought Harley Lewis about 3 seconds closer, and there goes Shield now on through to second, but what a valiant effort by Scott Kim to hang on to the lead for as long as he did. Now Darren Treacle trying to continue his success from last week and the feature win, trying to win the heat tonight. Here he goes under the bridge. Going to be about 2 more laps to go. We might get a third, so Andy Shield with a shot at this thing. But man, what a battle back there as those 3 got to duking it out side by side. Hard racing, and got Kim trying to hang on to a podium position as here comes Harley Lewis. Up 6 positions. Scott Kim, though, leading 10 laps. Just a couple slip-ups there. Opened the door for Darren Treacle to get on through, and he raced him as hard as he could, kept that car as wide as he could. But into the chicane they went, and probably a little bit of wear on those tires. Keep an eye on the battle for the lead, though. I think we're going to get 2 more laps. We're going to see what they say at the line, but should be about 15 seconds left on the clock as they get back around next time, and that'll be the white flag. Quick recap of what's happened in this one. Just 1 lead change, no cautions. Could be a 2nd lead change. The battle is on for 3rd. Scott Kim saw the fake from Harley Lewis, who gets a little bit in the grass, and dangerous situation right there. But Scott, after leading so many laps, would love to hang on to a podium position. As the top 2 are nose to tail, it's going to be 1 lap to duke it out. And here comes Andy Shield, fastest in qualifying. Does he make the move this time? Looks drivers right on Darren Treacle. They get into each other just a little bit. Darren slams the brakes in the middle of the corner to try and close the door. And he is going to hang on to the race lead as long as nothing happens here in the last couple of corners. It'll be back to the white flag. Lap car up the road from them shouldn't be a problem. But we are going to get the white right here. And there it is, white flag in the air, final lap. And the top two separated by 3 car lengths. And what a race it's been so far. 14 drivers, but as competitive as you will find a racing league here on iRacing. This BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter never disappoints as these top two trying to go for as many points as they can. Shield, already the pole sitter, trying to get maximum points in the heat race as well. And Treacle, who started a few positions further up the field, trying to hang on and capture as many as he can during the heat race. And it is 1.5 car lengths. Third place did change hands. Harley Lewis able to get by Scott Kim. And these two duking it out here. Coming back to the checkered flag very shortly. Just one more chicane, one opportunity this time. Andy Shield not going to be close enough. Darren Treacle continuing from the feature win last week. Going to take the heat win here at Zolder. And third place going to go to Harley Lewis, but how about that for Scott Kim? Fourth place finish, very strong run. And they'll pile it in the turn one as is tradition here. And we will head to our commercial break in just a moment. Wow, what a big hit right there. As we'll take a look at the race results from the heat race at Zolder. You can see drivers still trying to settle positions further back. Those will change hands potentially. There we go. A couple just swapped right there, but that's how your top 10 are looking. Yakov should be across the line very shortly. There he is across the line. Further back, it's going to be Colin Kortnick, Sten Sellier, and Adam Pohl to round out your field here in the heat race. We're going to go to a commercial break and be right back with the feature event. Here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh! Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes Dweck.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
This season of the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League is brought to you by Gunfire Games, developers of the hit game Remnant 2, now available for PC, PS5, and Xbox. For more information on Remnant 2, visit www.remnantgame.com. the starting line to the finish line, and everything in between. Duncan Racing Designs is here to supply you with the livery you didn't know you needed. Let DRD help you look good so you can drive fast. Contact Duncan Racing Designs on Instagram, Trading Paints, or via email. Matt Motorsports is a sim racing rentals and events company. We supply businesses and individuals with sim rigs for all types of events, from birthdays and bachelor parties to team building retreats and corporate events. We have packages to suit all types of occasions. Founded by an automotive industry veteran and BMW lover, Matt Motorsports' mission is to spark joy in current and future car enthusiasts. Learn more at mattmotorsports.com. Back at the racetrack now, going to be going ahead with our feature event. And this is going to be another 20-minute race as the driver's getting queued up on the starting grid. Getting ready to go here. It is going to be 14 drivers in this field. We're going to go through and take a look at who is starting where in tonight's feature event. It is going to be Colin Kortnick rolling off from the top spot. Yakov Bielik going to be starting from second position here tonight. Brian Kennedy going to be rolling off from the third spot. Michael Pavolano, he'll roll off from fourth. Carlos Bond's going to start in the fifth position. Starting in sixth, it'll be Dean Tulin. Seventh will be Perry Duncan. Eighth is going to be Matthew Gazenda. Scott Kim, after a very strong opening race tonight, he'll roll off from the ninth position. Starting in 10th, it's going to be Harley Lewis, who ended up on the podium in race number 1. Andy Scheel, look for him to try and make his way through the field once again. He'll roll off 11th, and Darren Treacle, winner of the heat race, is going to get cycled back to 12th. So got his work cut out for him in this one. Sten Selye going to start 13th. Adam Pohl going to roll off in the 14th position here tonight. We want to let you know that you can check out all of those sponsors in the video description. You can see them there in the bottom right of your screen as well. They are the presenting sponsors of this series here in the winter season, and glad to have them all on board. You can also check out Orange Speed AI. Learn more about them down in the video description, but an AI service that can help you build your iRacing setups that much faster and tailor them to your driving style. Check them out as well. Great sponsor of Team V-Speed. That's the field working through the backside of the racetrack here. It is always tough to pace side by side like that. And if Darren Treacle does not end up on the podium here tonight, we're definitely going to interview him after his heat race there in race number 1. Again, do want to thank you for tuning in here tonight on V-Speed. My name's Adam Baker. You can check us out at V-Speed Sim on Twitter, as well as Instagram, and you can find us on Facebook as well, and all of our great channels here on YouTube, V-Speed, V-Speed 2, and V-Speed Racing Network. You can check all of those out right here, and Twitch as well. All kinds of links coming your way as we are headed towards the start-finish line. It is going to be Colin Kortnick leading the way. Yakov Bielik once again on the front row. We'll see what he's able to do in the feature event. Cheer on your favorite drivers. Green flag is in the air. They are side by side now for third, Yakov Bielik, and that is going to be Michael Pavolano on through. Keeping an eye on other drivers, making sure everybody stays on track here, and they do. All 14 drivers able to make it through the first few corners, and this is where things are going to get interesting into the braking zone. like everybody able to snake their way through. Maybe a little contact further back. Dencelier maybe with a penalty as we ride on board with Adam Pohl. We'll see what Adam is able to do. Finished on the podium last week in the feature race and trying to sneak his way forward at this point. 13th, only the top, I believe it's top 15 all earned points. Everybody should be getting points here tonight. We're going to keep an eye on Andy Shield, Darren Treacle as they try and fight their way forward. Contact further up though. Cars off the racetrack. Now back onto the racetrack and pulling into the racing groove. That is Dean Tulane and Carlos Bonds making contact there. We're going to go to a replay as long as they all survive race number 1, but parts falling off of Carlos Bonds' car. And we are going to take a look here at what happened coming through that set of corners. Just locked it up under braking and collects the 84 of Dean Tulane, who's able to keep it rolling through the sand. That was all it was, just a little lockup right there as we go back live. Carlos back to 13th now with damage on that car. I think he might have some steering issues. Dean Tulane still up in the 7th spot in front of Darren Treacle. Andy Shield already up 6 positions into 5th with some connection problems, but trying to work his way forward. Colin Kortnick out in front, leading Brian Kennedy and Michael Pabolano, a couple of really fast drivers out here in front. As the top 3 have broken away, it is then Jakub Bielik under pressure. Andy Shield is all over the back bumper already trying to break into the top 4. He's going to look drivers left, and it is not going to be a problem at all. Jakub going to pull right out of the way. As not sure if we had to change for position. I saw the timing jump around further back in the field, but Dean Tulane going to lose a position. Now Darren Treacle goes around the outside. On board here with Darren, running in 7th, up 5 spots already, but having a hard time keeping up with Andy Shield, who is about 4 or 5 seconds up the road, and that may be all she wrote in terms of trying to get back to a race win, but you never know what can happen. Those top 3 looking pretty stout so far. Kortnick holding on to the race lead. Here comes Brian Kennedy and Pabolano in tow, and then Andy Shield continuing to chip away at that gap, but I got a feeling that it is going to be a heavyweight battle coming down to the end. And look at Brian Kennedy trying to make a move, gets back to the power, but not able to pull alongside. And that opens the door for Michael Pabolano now looking to drivers left, and he is not going to back out of it. They're going to go in side by side. Ultimately, I think Brian's going to be able to hang on to the position. That just continues to reel in the number 1 of Andy Shield. Darren pulling himself through the field as well, up to 6th. And Pabolano able to take 2nd away. He was able to make the move work. And really good start for him as well, up 2 positions. And Jakub Bielik with issues at the chicane. We're going to take a look at what happened. And then I think we're going to have a battle for 3rd very shortly. Treacle just shot the inside. It looks like Jakub just overran the corner a little bit. go back alive. He's fighting to hang on to a top 10 spot. Adam Pohl right on his back bumper, but we'll keep an eye on second, third, and fourth as Colin Kortnick has pulled ahead by about 0.8. As these top four have pulled away, Darren Treacle's moved into fifth. He is 6.1 seconds back of Colin Kortnick and about 4.5 behind Andy Scheel. He is going to do everything he can, I'm sure, to track those guys down, nose to tail further up. That looks like a move possibly by Andy Scheel into the braking zone, but he is going to hold off for the moment. Really tight area to make a pass. Porsche looks like it's really handling well. You can see the back end get a little tail happy. He's going to make a move here. Driver's right, but the door's left open, actually, and Brian Kennedy going to race with him side by side. He'll have the upper hand into the next set of turns. Going to have to charge the corner, but Scheel just outbrakes him and able to take the spot. Can Brian Kennedy undercut him on exit, and he's going to get a nice run. They'll be side by side down the front stretch. But Scheel able to complete the pass. He's going to just outbrake once again and move him into third position. Paul Bolano now has his sights set on Colin Kortnick for the race lead. He's got to see that Porsche closing in his mirror, though. Everybody using every inch of that section of the track. Darren Treacle has been able to really close in. He's fastest on the racetrack right now. Trying to get up there and challenge before the one car can get into a spot to challenge for the race lead, and I think that's his primary goal, to try and get up there as battle for the race lead. Colin Kortnick side by side with Michael Pavolano. It changed hands for a moment, and we have 4 cars racing for the lead nose to tail. What is going to happen right here? We saw last time they bodied each other out of the way. And this time, no contact just yet. Scheel looking driver's right as they head down towards the last set of corners on the racetrack. Again, Darren Treacle continuing to close in. We're going to have 5 cars under a blanket here very shortly. And don't count out Perry Duncan either. He's coming right along with the number 70 as Scheel peeks out, looks driver's left. He's going to send it down into turn 1, but Pavolano shuts the door. What a battle for the lead as Colin Kortnick a little wide. That's going to open the door for Pavolano now, as well as Andy Scheel. And is he going to take the move? The opportunity to make a move at least, and not going to do it to get the race lead. Treacle now just 2.2 seconds behind, trying to get the sweep on the evening. And we've got side by side further back for third. And the 2 Porsches now out in front. Michael Pavolano. You see now how fast Mike can be, as Darren Treacle's had problems. And he is slammed into the wall. Oh, just got a little too wide, and I think a big hit in the barriers there. We're going to see if we can find a better view of it. But every camera seems to lose it here. We're going to go on board. Big hit right there. As we are going to go back alive. He's been able to continue, and the battle is on for the lead now. Side by side, Andy Scheel, Michael Pavolano. And Pavolano just trying everything he can to stay there. And Andy Shield, driver's right, really tight racing between these two. And it is not over yet. Pablano not giving it up. So close for comfort right there, and it is going to be Pablano hanging on. Great driving between these two, and it is still 4 cars under a blanket. And really nice run there out of the chicane. That's going to be... Oh, they're going to close the door. And Pablano gets turned. Wow, I think that was just... I don't know if that was a bad block gone wrong. You saw it happen right there. Just close the door, and there was no more racetrack for Andy Shield to back out and use up. And he got a really nice run out of that chicane as we're going to go to the overhead view, and that is the impact right there. Around goes Pablano, big hit, the concrete wall. Andy Shield with a little bit of damage now. Is he going to be able to hang on out in front of Colin Kortnick and Brian Kennedy? What an intense battle right there, and just an unfortunate way for that to end. Well, that is what you'll get. It is racing, and I mean, these guys are out there to win, that is for sure. As Adam Pohl continues his march forward, second biggest mover in this race, up to 7th. In the Porsche back there. Now out in front, it is Andy Shield. And fastest in qualifying and second in the heat race, and now charging from 11th to 1st. Really no problem at all. He has just been so fast the last 2 races. And looking for his first victory, whether it's a heat race or a feature race. Brian Kennedy, who's been so successful here the last 4 or 5 seasons in this league, also up here at the front, and really nice run for him in the feature. Colin Kortnick has led 6 laps and trying to stay up here on the podium. Perry Duncan is closing in. Nice run for Dean Tulane as well. He's in 6th. On board here with Dean. Right where he started in the 6th position. Adam Pohl up 7, as we mentioned. Scott Kim looking at potentially a top 10 in the feature. Nice run for him as well. Finds himself right in front of Darren Treacle, who appears to have gotten some of the damage repaired on that race car. Harley Lewis, nice strong run as well, up 5 positions, 3rd biggest mover in this race. Trying to get up there and track down Perry Duncan, and he has been about 2 or 3 tenths of a second per lap faster. It should be just about enough to get there. Andy Shield crossing the line now. Gonna probably be 3 more laps after this one. And Andy is just pulling away. He is now 2.5 seconds up the road from Brian Kennedy in just about 2.5 laps. He is really putting down a pace that no one else is able to match. 129.65. That was a 10th quicker than Brian and also Harley Lewis, who are 129.75. And Oh, really big run over the curb right there, though. He's got to be careful. It's not all over yet. Does have that nose damage from the contact with Michael Pavolano. Yes, we do have a battle further back. Michael Pavolano, I think, still trying to work his way around. Might have just had a problem here. Yeah, Stencelier got into him. Or he spun out and then got into Sten. A big hit there. And then Sten goes sliding through the sand, and they've gone back up to speed now, 13th and 14th in this field. But I think the place to keep our eyes on is going to be right around here. Colin Kortnick in third. Perry Duncan, Harley Lewis. Going to be fighting for that final step of the podium. 3 minutes left. It looks like it's going to be about 3 more laps for Andy Scheel. Just continuing to pull away the gap now, 3.2 seconds out in front, and just a pace that shows he was the fastest car here tonight. There is no doubt about it. His best lap, a 1:28.70 is what I'm seeing on my screen, and that is nearly a second faster than anyone else on the track. I'm not sure if that's just a scoring error, but he is really putting down some great laps in that machine. Brian Kennedy, though, no slouch right here. He has been second or third quickest all race long, trying to secure himself that second position. Here comes Perry Duncan, though, big run. Gonna get alongside Colin Kortnick. And into the chicane, not gonna be able to make a move, but can he get a good run out? Does not look like he's able to put the power down. Here comes Harley Lewis. They'll be coming back to the white flag. Perry Duncan gonna lose 4th position, but Harley goes a little bit wide there through turn 1. Able to hang on to it, shuts the door in turn 2. Then from there, trying to set his sights on a podium finish. Colin Kortnick hanging on to it after leading all those laps early. Similar situation to Scott Kim in the heat race. Speaking of Scott, he's trying to track down Matthew Gazenda. Those two maybe setting up for a nice little battle here, coming to the white flag. As we have side by side, Perry Duncan, Harley Lewis. This battle's not over. Into the chicane. This is a tight area, and it is going to slow them both down to race side by side into there. And that may be their opportunity for a podium finish, slipping away. Andy Scheel, a couple more corners, and he'll get the white flag, and dominating drive as soon as he got to the lead. Really just an unstoppable force in this one. Started in 11th. He'll get the white flag this time. Brian Kennedy comfortably in second, Colin Kortnick in third. And the battle is still raging on for 4th. Harley Lewis, Perry Duncan. That is allowing Dean Tulien and Adam Pold maybe even an opportunity to get up there in the top 5. It slows you down about 2 seconds a lap if you battle hard like this. And there goes Perry Duncan around. Oh, man. Just pushed a little too hard into turn 1, and that is going to hurt. As he falls through the standings now. Back to 10th. And that is what happened. Just lost the back end. And got passed up as we go back live. There is a battle on for the final stop position in the top 5. That is Adam Pohl. Dean Tulien is Adam Pohl. Moving up 9 positions. Finds himself in 5th spot. And Harley Lewis up here in 4th. Just happy to get away and secure that position for himself. How about Andy Shield, though? Second race of the season. He was fastest at the Glen, charged through the field twice, and that without a victory. And he is going to come home second in the heat race and first place tonight here in the feature. From Zolder, Brian Kennedy going to come by. He'll finish in the second spot. Third is going to be Colin Kortnick. Nice finish for him as well after leading those laps early on. And then from there on, it's going to be Harley Lewis, Adam Pohl, Dean Tulane. Scott Kim able to get 8th position away there as Perry Duncan lost those spots late on in the race. And we are going to pile into turn 1. And these drivers going to celebrate the only way they know how, and that is destruction. And what a race here tonight from Zolder. We're going to go to another quick commercial. We'll be right back with the top 3 interviews and driver of the day.
There isn't a one-size-fits-all for almost anything in life. So don't settle for a one-size-fits-all setup. Eliminate the frustration in building with an AI-powered personalized toolkit to boost you forward to victory. Optimize your setup and improve your performance over those cookie-cutter builds used by the rest of the pack. Vantage is iRacing.com's first AI setup builder. Save your time and give back to your personal life. Vantage takes any setup for any track and adjusts it specifically to your needs. Choose from over 100 cars for any paved circuit. A custom-tailored experience that's easy to understand and tested to fit any driver style. Subscriptions as low as $8.50 per month. And for a limited time, new members get a 7-day free trial with unlimited access to all Vantage has to offer. Let Orange Speed Vantage free you of the endless loop of testing and get you back on track to victory lane. Visit orangespeedvantage.ai to get started.
Matt Motorsports is a sim racing rentals and events company. We supply businesses and individuals with sim rigs for all types of events, from birthdays and bachelor parties to team building retreats and corporate events. We have packages to suit all types of occasions. Founded by an automotive industry veteran and BMW lover, Matt Motorsports' mission is to spark joy in current and future car enthusiasts. Learn more at mattmotorsports.com.
We are back at the racetrack now. We're going to take a look at our results for tonight's race, and then we'll interview our top 3. And driver of the day is going to be Darren Treacle, who's able to recover for a top 10 finish, but also wins the heat race. And we'll want to get an opportunity to talk to him. So how about Andy Shield, though, taking the victory, charging through the field after a very close finish with Darren Treacle in that heat race. Going to be Shield taking the victory in the feature race tonight. Second place, Brian Kennedy. Third place is going to be Colin Kortnick. Harley Lewis comes home 4th. Adam Pohl in 5th. Dean Tulane going to finish in the 6th spot. Matthew Gazenda comes home in 7th. Scott Kim, nice strong run in the heat as well as the race, going to finish 8th. Darren Treacle 9th. Perry Duncan, late spin, going to relegate him back to 10th spot. Jakub Bielik finishes 11th. 12th is Carlos Bonds. Michael Pavolano 13th. Sten Cellier 14th. And Mike Nickham did not start the race. He'll come home in the 15th position this evening. Let's take a look at our race winner, though. That's going to be Andy Shield, and we'll see if we can pull him in to the booth with us here. And it looks like we have lost Andy. Jumped out already, so unfortunately not going to be able to interview him. I am able to. We're going to start with our third place finisher here tonight then. That is going to be Colin Kortnick. If we can get Colin in here first.
Then Andy's just going to take off.
Hey Colin, this is Adam in the VC booth. You got a copy?
Hey Adam, you there?
Yep. Hey Colin, can you hear me?
Yeah, hey man, how's it going?
Yeah, pretty good, man. Sorry, I was on push to talk from the other day. I didn't realize it, but third place finish here tonight at Zolder, and man, you led some laps, and we're looking pretty good out there, and able to hold on for a podium finish. Just describe your night.
Yeah, I mean, not my best track. Still a little rusty. Missed last week, right? So a little bit rusty getting into it. Had a little bit of a skirmish in the first race, unfortunately. But started to come together, and it was fun to compete with some of the fast guys like Andy and Brian and Mike. Too bad that they crashed. Mike crashed out in front of us, but yeah, it was just fun to find a little bit more pace and just be a little bit of be a hair lower than the top guys, but I'm starting to get my groove, and it was a fun race. It was good to start the season.
Yeah, definitely a good strong run for you here at a track that I think a lot of people aren't overly familiar with, but obviously you had good speed and good consistency and able to hold on for a nice strong points finish here tonight. We go to Magnet Cores next week, which another track I think we've been to before in this league, but it's been a little while. How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm drawing a complete blank, to be honest with you. So, and I got, I don't know if I'm gonna get the practice in next week until race night. So I'm gonna have to do some laps this weekend.
We'll see what you're able to do, and hopefully end up on the podium as well. But nice strong run here tonight at Zolder. And anybody want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, just go gas burn, right? Hope just love that they're all competing. Everybody's getting faster, but yeah, just excited to be back for the new season. And sorry I missed last week's race. Watkins Glen's one of my favorites, but just excited to have everybody back and racing again now that it's cold out. Everybody wants to get on the simming and get ready for real HPDEs and racing once springtime comes.
Yeah, definitely the right time of year for that. Where I am, it's about 10 degrees right now, so definitely nice to be inside and on the simulator. But great run out there, Colin, and we'll catch you next week.
Thanks, Adam. Appreciate it.
Thank you. On Kornick in the second position. We're going to go now to, or third position rather. We're going to go to Brian Kennedy in second. Hey, Brian, this is Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Adam.
Well, Brian, a good strong run here. You were up there in the top 3 for most of this feature race. Just able to hang with those guys and ultimately come home with a runner-up finish. Describe your night from the heat race all the way through here to the feature.
Yeah, it's this track. It's I don't know if it's the Ferrari or just where I happen to be faster, but I'm not fast in the typical passing spots. So it was really tough to pass. You had to wait for a mistake, at least for me. And so I had a decent qualifying. I had a great feature race with some awesome racing up there with Colin, Mike, and Andy. Really strong defense from Colin there. He kind of held us all off for a long time. So yeah, it was an overall fun night. Unfortunately, there's some contact with Mike and Andy there. We're just taking a look at, but it was so close. Something was bound to happen. Yeah, it's hard to race that close for that long and not have an incident.
Yeah, I was gonna say some of these chicanes here, we saw contact. It's a tough place to make a pass, and if you are side by side going in there and no one is backed out, some fenders are gonna be wrinkled, but definitely an exciting night of racing. And we go to Magnet Course
indeed.
next. We go to Magnet Course next week. How do you feel about going out there?
I'm not sure because the only time I've driven it is in the GTP or the LMDH cars, and very different beast than these things. Definitely, I got the impression it's kind of a good high downforce track. So yeah, we'll see. I'll have to relearn it in these cars.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's been a while, and yeah, that does spark that memory. You guys were in the LMDH cars all the way back when for the one season there, and that was the season we went to that track. But we expect to see you up at the front as you are every week, and hopefully you can get another podium finish, maybe a win in that one. But runner up here tonight. Anybody want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, our sponsors, Duncan Racing Design, Matt Motorsports, and oh boy, who am I forgetting now? Oh yeah, Gunstock Games and the new game Remnants. So Matt's company there. So yeah, thank you to those guys, and shout out to Team Gasburn. Let's go.
Awesome, Brian. Well, great run, and we'll catch you next week. That is Brian Kennedy, second place finisher, and again, winner here tonight, Andy Scheel. Not gonna be able to get an interview with him, so we're gonna talk with Darren Treacle, if he is still around. Like Darren is still around, so we're gonna talk with Heat winner. That is gonna be Darren Treacle. We can find him here. There's the car. We are gonna pull Darren in.
The cars. Uh-oh.
Hey Darren, this is Adam, the VC booth. You got a copy?
I do, Adam. How are you?
Pretty good, man. And you had quite the night here. You win the heat race and charging through the field, and just a little bit off track there. But man, a great start to the season for you with a feature win and a heat win. Just describe your night here at Zolder.
It went pretty well. I was very happy with the win in the first race. It was a little dicey there, the last couple of laps. Me, Scott, and Adam. Right? It was Adam Shield, right?
Yeah, Andy.
Andy, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Andy. Sorry about that, Andy. And Andy's always fast, and Scott's hard to get around, and this is a tight track, and but it was fun. It was a good, the second race didn't go quite as well. Going through the little chicane there, the first one dropped the left side tire, and that was pretty much all she wrote on that one. But it was fun right up to that point.
Yeah, and you were definitely moving through the field and tracking down the top four, and it was going to be interesting to see if you guys all were battling it out there for those last few laps. But ultimately, a top 10 finish tonight. We go to Magnacores, which we haven't been to since you guys were in those LMDH machines, I think about a year ago. How do you feel about going out there if you do have recollection of that track?
I have some recollection, and my recollection is I don't like it. So, yeah, that's, it's funny. I did a couple of laps on Zolder last night, and I was like, oh, I remember this track. Okay, I just didn't remember the name. But the one that we're going to next week, I pretty much remember, and I pretty much remember I was like, I'm not a fan. But, it is what it is. Just make the. You don't win on the bad nights. You win on the good. I mean, no, you don't win on the good nights. You win on the bad nights, right, or something. Isn't that what they say? Yeah. So.
I knew a guy, or I've known a guy who used to say he hated certain tracks, and he'd always be the one winning at them. So maybe it's the same situation, right? You don't like the track, but you'll go out there and whoop everybody.
Man, we can run with that, but I tell you, it's a tough. This is a tough crew. So everybody's gotten faster, and it makes it tough, but it's fun. So
awesome, Darren. Well, great run here tonight with the win in the heat race and top 10 in the feature. Anybody want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, Treacle Insurance Agency, as always. Haggerty Motorsports, if you're interested in getting your race car insured. You for putting on the broadcast. The guys that sponsor us as well, and Scott for putting this on. It's all very much appreciated.
Awesome, Darren. Well, we will catch you next week at Magnacores. Have a great night.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks, you too.
Thanks. And we're going to go now to Scott Kim, and I named Scott Driver of the Day. He had a great night, led a bunch of laps there in race number 1, ends up coming home 8th place in race number 2, and we're going to pull him in right now. Hey, Scott, this is Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Hey, copy. Hey, Adam.
Well, Scott, we named you Driver of the Day with your great effort there in the heat race, and then ultimately a really solid finish here in the feature race. Man, those guys, they were tracking you down, but you held them off for a few laps there in that heat race. Were you feeling the pressure from behind, and what was that like leading some laps?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't too bad pressure-wise, but I made a couple mistakes toward the end. I think the tires start to fall off pretty quickly. And there's some understeer moment that I lost a lot of time there. And of course, they took advantage of it. But yeah, those guys are really fast. Darren and Andy, and it was tough, but yep, it was a good race, good driving.
Yeah, you led a bunch of laps and ultimately came home with a top 5 in that, and in top 8 here in the feature. And we go to Magnacores next week. How do you feel about going out there?
I missed the last race there, so I'm really looking forward to it. I know it's a really nice, smooth track, so I'm really looking forward to it. So
awesome, Scott. Well, pleasure as always. Congrats on Driver of the Day, and we will catch you next week.
All right, thanks so much. Thanks, Adam. Talk to you next time.
Thanks. And that is Scott Kim, Driver of the Day. As one more time, we're going to go through our results, and that is going to be Andy Shield taking the victory, Brian Kennedy second, Colin Kortnick third, fourth tonight Harley Lewis, fifth is Adam Pohl, 16 Tulane, seventh Matt Gazenda, eighth Scott Kim, ninth Darren Treacle and Perry Duncan, rounding out the top 10. 11th Jakob Bielet, Carlos Bonds 12th, Michael Pavolano going to finish 13th, Sten Cellier going to finish in 14th, and Mike Nickum going to round out your field in the 15th position. We do want to thank you so much for tuning in here tonight to the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Race from Zolder, and we'll be back next week Thursday night from Magny-Cours. You won't want to miss that as this winter season continues. Make sure to tune on in. Here is the full schedule for the remainder of the season, and we will catch you all next time.